12 cents. That is the entire price of a United States soldier. His home address, and the fact that he quietly takes medication he never told his commander about. In 2023, researchers at Duke University proved it. They didn't hack a single system, they just went shopping, and for as little as 12 cents a record, they bought the private files of active duty American service members. Names, home addresses, health conditions, some of it sold through a foreign website that barely asked who was buying. If a handful of academics can buy the people who guard this country for less than the coins in your couch, then so can anyone, so can Beijing. And here is what should stop you cold. There is a file exactly like that one, on you. You never filled it out, you never agreed to it, and at this moment it is completely legal to buy. There was a time your secrets died with the people you trusted them to. Not anymore. Today, they sit in a database with a price tag, waiting for a buyer. So let me show you who holds your file, how little it costs, and why almost nothing you do can erase it. Start with the file itself, because it is bigger than you think. There is an entire industry most people have never heard of. They're called data brokers, and they don't make anything. They collect. Every warranty card you mailed in, every loyalty card swiped at the register, every app that quietly reads your location while it sits in your pocket, your public records, your voter file, the digital exhaust of your entire life. Then they stitch it together into one permanent profile with your name on it. In 2014, the Federal Trade Commission pried this industry open and found something staggering. A single broker held 3,000 separate facts on nearly every consumer in America. One of their databases held over 700 billion individual data elements, 3,000 facts on almost everyone. And that was before the phone in your hand became the most honest informant you will ever carry. Picture your own file for a second. It doesn't just hold your name and address, it can hold your income, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you just had a baby, whether you're in debt or newly divorced or grieving, whether your searches suggest you're depressed. Brokers sort real people into ready-made lists. The recently bereaved, the newly pregnant, the financially desperate, seniors with dementia. Those are real packaged products, and anyone with a credit card can buy them, which leads to the ugly truth. Once your life is a file, your life has a price, and the price is almost nothing. The soldiers were 12 cents. But it goes darker. That same year, another Duke researcher went hunting for the most sensitive data imaginable. Americans' mental health records. Who's anxious? Who's depressed? Who is in crisis right now? Of the brokers she contacted, nearly a dozen were willing to sell. One offered it for about 6 cents a name. 6 cents to know someone's darkest month. And the crown jewel of your file is the one thing you can't fake: where your body actually goes. A group of companies called location brokers buy the GPS pings your apps leak and resell them. That trail can expose a visit to a cancer ward, a mosque, a gun store, a domestic violence shelter, a military base at 2 in the morning. The government understands exactly how powerful that is, because it is a paying customer. A broker called Ventel sold Americans' phone location data straight to law enforcement and intelligence agencies, letting them simply buy what the Constitution says they'd need a warrant to get. No judge, no probable cause, just an invoice. And if you're telling yourself these companies at least protect the data they hoard, in January 2025, one of the largest location brokers, Gravy Analytics, was breached. Terabytes of location data on millions of people spilled into the open, mapping where they had lived, worked, and traveled. The people who track you, it turns out, cannot even protect you. So the file exists. It's cheap. It leaks. Which brings us to the question in the title, the one that should genuinely disturb you. Who is legally allowed to buy it? The answer comes from the government's own paperwork. California now forces data brokers to register with the state and admit what they do. And in the 2026 registry, 33 of those brokers reported, in an official filing, in their own words, that they sell or share data with buyers connected to North Korea, China, Russia, or Iran. 5 of them collect your precise location. Sit with that. Not a whistleblower, not a leak. The brokers themselves told the state of California, on the record, that buyers linked to America's adversaries are on their client list. But precision matters here. This is not proof that China is running a spy ring through your grocery points. Several of those brokers later disputed how their own filing was read. The truth is quieter and somehow worse. It doesn't take a spy ring. When the data is this cheap and this open, a hostile government doesn't need to steal a thing. It can just shop. Legally. 12 cents at a time. Even Washington finally flinched. A new federal law now bars brokers from selling sensitive data to those 4 countries. And in 2025, the Justice Department wrote the rules to enforce it, naming its countries of concern. And that tells you everything. You do not write a law against something that wasn't already happening. So you're thinking the obvious thing. Fine, I'll opt out. I'll delete myself. I truly wish that worked. You can send the requests, but brokers constantly buy each other's data, so the file you delete quietly refills from the broker next door, like scooping water out of the sea. When Consumer Reports tested the paid services that promised to erase you, they found that 4 months later, only about a third of your data had actually stayed gone. And a 2026 study that fired off hundreds of deletion demands found most of them got no confirmed result at all. Think about what that means. You followed the rules. You asked to disappear. And most of the time, nothing happened. There is one real crack of light. California just built a single delete button. One request meant to hit every registered broker at once, and by law, they have to start honoring it in 2026. It is the first serious blow this industry has ever taken, but it is one state out of 50. For the other 49, and for every country that isn't California, the file stays wide open. So let's name what this actually is. The brokers will tell you correctly that some of this powers fraud detection and identity checks that protect you. That's true. But that is the exact excuse that kept you from looking, because this is a $200 billion industry built on one quiet bet, that you will never ask to see your own file. Almost no one ever does. Because underneath the jargon, here is what's left. A file on you that you never agreed to, sold for pennies, bought by advertisers, by your own government without a warrant, and, by the industry's own admission, by buyers tied to the nations your government calls enemies. You were told the deal was simple. The apps are free. They were never free. You were the thing being sold, 12 cents at a time. If this is the first time anyone has shown you the file, subscribe, because every single thing I just described was legal. And the file they are building on you next is already here,